Okay, so I was just saying we're still dealing with some technical difficulties, so thank you guys so much for being patient with us. You have joined us today for the Thought Seat. We are meeting with Nate Smith today. Nathan, when you're online, do you go by Nathan or Nate?
I go by Nate.
Okay, so we're with Nate Smith today. Nate Smith is, I would say, probably the smartest Facebook marketer out there. Is that close to accurate? Okay, maybe not.
No.
But he's someone that is a Facebook marketer. He runs a variety of pages and has a social media marketing company. I'll let him introduce the names of all of his companies and whichever pages he wants to share. But you're joining Ashley Rader, who is in your upper left-hand corner. I'm Ashley Coombe. That's Scott Jangro down in the lower left corner. And there is Nate Smith right there.
We can do the Brady Bunch thing.
I know.
Yeah. Wait, do I look? No, I look this way.
Ashley?
No, you're looking the wrong way, Ashley.
You're looking the wrong way.
I'm looking the wrong way?
Yeah, you have to look down.
To your right.
No. Anyway, never mind.
That's probably the first time anyone's ever done that on Blab.
I'm sure.
No one's ever heard that one before. So if you guys are here, if you guys hear something useful, if you want to share anything, you can just, over to your left, it says Tell a Little Bird. That will tweet out to your followers. It will automatically tweet the link out, or you can tweet something. You'll see every once in a while we will change the name of the title. Ashley's in charge of that.
She will do that.
What specifically we're talking about at that moment, so that way when you tweet out to your followers, it will tell them what we're talking about at that moment. So actually,
and also if you hear anything that you like, use those little hands in the lower right corner to give props like this.
Oh, your little hands.
I can clap for Ashley.
Like that.
Holy crap.
Now, Nathan. So Ashley,
that's much better than the hearts on Periscope.
Yeah.
I need some applause here. Ashley, unless you have anything else to say, then Nate, you can take over.
I'm just going to take
your
over.
social media group and your pages that you'll be talking about.
Okay, so as Ashley Coombe already said, this is crazy with two Ashleys.
Oh, you know how we combat that?
No.
We call her Ashley and me Ash.
Oh, okay.
So that helps a little bit.
Yeah, you were sending me messages. I thought it was like Seinfeld. Jimmy.
Yeah.
Jimmy's going to talk to you early. Anyway, as Ashley said, I'm Nate Smith. I have a social media marketing company. I manage online marketing for businesses, but that all came about because of my success with using Facebook for my own blog. I have coffeenate.com is what everybody knows me by. And that Facebook page has just exploded. And basically, since the time that everybody started complaining about the loss of organic reach and the algorithms, that's when mine took off in the positive direction. I don't use paid advertising. I don't use paid placements at all. And I add about 400 to 500 new fans per week now. And it seems to get better. And it's not following anybody's teachings or suggestions. It's just doing what works for my community and what is working for Coffee Nate. So there are good suggestions from people who are experts in the field and whatnot. But each community is going to be its own unique individual, and you have to treat it as such. You wouldn't treat every single child the same way. I mean, you like to think that you do, but some have different needs, and you can't treat the youngest like you treat the oldest. Oh yeah, here's the car keys. We'll see. You're 3 years old. We'll see you at midnight. It just doesn't work that way. So, yeah, I have great success with doing one post every 3 days, and people think I'm ridiculous for doing that. But when that one post, like last week, gets seen by 185,000 people, okay, so why post 20 times a day?
How many likes do you have on the page?
I'm sorry?
How many likes do you have on the page?
It's 26,000 now.
And 185,000 people saw your post.
Right.
Wow.
And it's nothing profound that I'm saying. It's just it works a lot better with a topic that is universal and like a passion-based topic, like or niche. So coffee has a wide following. I don't have to be controversial, and it's all feel-good stuff. And then in between there, I'll add, my own promotional stuff every once in a while. But those other posts ensure that when I do something promotional, it gets seen by people.
So do you use some of those tactics and see maybe not as much success, but similar success when you are managing a small business's page?
Yeah, it works. It works in the same manner, but obviously coffee and sports and things like that are going to be much easier than marketing a software company or some type of service that, people are passionate about their sports teams. They're passionate about, drinking coffee. They have to get up and it gets them going. And, it's a huge following on all different sorts of levels. But there's not a lot of energy behind a business. So you have to generate that somehow. So injecting some sort of conversation helps do that. And you see some success, but it hasn't been translated directly over for like B2B clients yet. But it does help, obviously, but it's not the 200%. But say 50%, still even 10 and 20% is much higher than the average now. People are talking about 1 to 2% organic reach.
I get a lot of that on my pages. So what is a strategy that you would use to reach that 200%, or that 20 to 50% on one of the business pages? You mentioned being conversational. Can you share some examples of that?
Right. So one company I'm working with is Personal Checks. They sell personal checks online. How do you get any more boring than that? And and something that doesn't translate well online, because anybody who's engaged online, they're using electronic transfers. They're switching to other methods of payments, and stores are starting not to take checks and all that sort of thing. But for me, I know at least 4 times a year I'm writing a check to the government. So in the next 30 years, I will be out of checks. I'll have to order again. So the tactic I've gone with that is to be conversational and to get in front of people. Say this month is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Well, they have breast cancer awareness checks. So I make an image with breast cancer awareness checks, links to their thing, and then in the description, I put different facts about breast cancer and breast cancer research, and just kind of cite the source on that, because people like to argue about things, and it's like, well, this is where I got it from, so that's where your argument lies, not with me. But that has shown to boost sales, because people are like, oh, I want to show my support for this cause or whatnot. And
so you're not even necessarily talking about checks. You're talking about a subject they might be passionate about, and then tying it back to checks.
Exactly. And even there's days like National whatever day. Today was National Mushroom Day. So, woohoo! Go out and celebrate.
Where do you find that?
Oh, it's a website. I don't know. I can find it for you later.
Are you sharing that on the Coffee Nate page?
No.
Or on
this is
other niche pages?
This is a client page that's not a sexy, high energy product, but still gets good reach and interaction. And so you can get, when you target like that, because when you're targeting, even with your paid placements, you can get engagement for 3 cents per engagement. So you've put $5 on it. I mean, what's $5 really for a business? It's
what, when you put $5 on it, do you mean, I already know the answer. I've spoken with Nate at conferences before, so I already know his answer, but I'm going to pretend like I don't. So when you put $5 on it, you hit that little boost post button?
Not usually, no. Now it's much better than it used to be, but the targeting is much more precise if you use the self-serve ad tool or Power Editor.
So what, if you did hit that boost post button, what would you want to select or avoid?
I would choose target by interest instead of your fans or your fans and their friends. Target by interest and say breast cancer awareness. You type in you keep typing breast cancer in until nothing pops up.
So,
because you start typing in a topic and then it'll populate a list of things to choose from, and you just keep clicking on those. And
I want to elaborate what Nate's talking about. If you have a business page, after this blab, go give it a try. Go to your last post and click that little boost post button if you've never done it before. And it'll say up there, okay, do you want this post to be shown to just your fans and their friends, or specific interests? I often use that just my fans. So if there's something specific I'm doing for my business and I want to make sure all my fans see it, I select that all the time. I don't know who might use it. I've never used my fans and their friends because I know I have such dramatically different interests than my friends that if I'm seeing an ad just because Scott likes golf, I have no interest in that. So I never use that. It doesn't make sense to me to use that. If somebody in this conversation does use that, I would be interested to hear about it. The other thing I do that Nate's talking about it is they'll say other, I can't remember exactly what the tag is, but interests, I think. And if you start typing breast cancer awareness, anything related to that, it will pull up other pages or topics that Facebook users have said that they like before. So if they've liked breast cancer awareness, you want the breast cancer awareness checks to show up in their newsfeed. If they've liked a related organization, you want them to see that there's this promotion there. So you can put those interests in. It'll pull up, if you have a competitor that has a really strong page, it'll pull up often their page, and you can show ads to the people who have liked your competitor's page. Hopefully I didn't just repeat what Nate said, I clarified it. Is that true? Maybe I just repeated it.
that's okay, no problem.
But then what Nate's saying is instead of hitting that boost post button, if you go over in your left-hand column and it says Ads Manager, you can make an ad there, and it's much more specific than, or you can target a much more specific audience than you can when you just hit boost post. I think the Halloween candy that I left out for my kids ran out. I can hear mommy out there. Uh-oh.
The babysitter.
If you count
Full of candy.
If you count my, oh yeah, my 9-year-old and the Halloween candy are the babysitters right now. Nate, you may have a list of things you want to talk about. I had a couple of things that you've done that I've seen you do that I wanted to bring up. Do you want me to jump in now, or do you have some things to go over?
I'll do it now, and then
Okay.
I'll fill in gaps if need be.
One of my favorite, so this is a tactic rather than an overall strategy, but one of my favorite tactics that I saw you use in the past is you put a cover photo on one of the company websites that you were managing, or the company Facebook pages that you're managing, and it said something like, click here for, and then you gave away a freebie. And when people clicked on that cover photo, in the description of the cover photo, you had a link to where they could go to get that freebie. Can you touch on that for a minute?
Right. The cover image is often an ignored thing other than the design. People design nice cover images and then don't do anything with them. Because when you're posting it, there's not a blank to fill out for a description. So that's usually just, this company updated their cover photo, so that's what you see in your newsfeed. So instead of just doing that, once you upload the cover photo, you click on it yourself and then click the add description and then put in some kind of call to action.
So give me a couple examples. What would you do for the check company, for a couple different examples that might apply to people? And if you're in here listening and you think, oh, I should do that on my photo, but I'm not sure what I might give as a giveaway, then go ahead and type in what your company is, and maybe Nate can help you out with an idea. So give me a couple examples, Nate, of what you've done for different clients.
All right, so for a coffee client, like that's what you were talking about, I believe. I had a click here for a free pound of coffee. When they click on it, it opens up. They see the description with the link where they can claim the free pound of coffee.
Are you guys hearing that bad echo?
Yes, I am.
Let me put my headphones in. Okay, did that fix it? Echo
I don't know.
Could you guys see? Oh, good. I was worried you could see my dirty laundry pile back there.
I'm in the schoolroom. That's where we teach school.
Oh, awesome. Oh, yep. My sound was echoing. Okay. So, so because the echo kind of overtook that, can you repeat what you did for the coffee company?
So they had a free pound of coffee giveaway, which was an intro to their subscription program. So for your first order, you get a free pound of coffee. You can cancel right then after you get the free pound, but a certain percentage don't, obviously. So it's worthwhile for them. So they ran had a coupon on the cover image, said, click here for a free pound of coffee. People click there and see in the description the link for claiming the free pound.
Which I got, by the way.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, when I was looking at Smear Pages. So
they still owe me.
And then you cancel right away.
$1,000 in affiliate commissions.
So everybody go get your free pound of coffee.
From somewhere else. Oh, yeah, and then quit.
And we'll send it to you.
So what's an example that you might do on the cover photo for the check company?
Well, if they were willing to offer a coupon, at least have a link to where you want to send people. Have some sort of call to action in that description.
Because sometimes people click on that cover photo.
You don't have to put in the cover image all the time. You don't have to put click here for this or whatever. But people click on those cover images. And even when you just first change them, they're getting distributed, not widely, but there's a description there that you can take advantage of.
Does anybody that's listening have a question for how you could use that for your own Facebook business page? If you do, just type it in the comments. Ashley or Scott?
Like email signups. Yeah, you do a call to action for your newsletter.
Ooh,
Jules123. Jules123 is asking, what about for a beauty blogger? Do you have any ideas for how that could be used?
Well, if you had some sort of, if you have a newsletter, the most valuable thing you will get from Facebook, you'll get some direct sales and whatnot and engage in a community, but you don't own Facebook. I use Facebook. I like what it's doing for me now, but it might not be there next year. So if I do something to collect that person's information so I can stay in contact with them even after I lose this organic reach, then that's what I would suggest. So if you have a newsletter, have a call to action in your cover image for a newsletter and in the description, and have a link to a landing page that has the same style.
We talked a lot about
specific page.
Oh, sorry.
To get those email signups.
We talked a lot about the importance of newsletters 2 weeks ago because we were talking about renting your property versus owning it. And I think it turned into us talking about renting your audience versus owning those people, but really we meant their information. So we were talking about how important it is to have their email addresses or their information, and how probably just saying, hey, I have a newsletter isn't going to get them to give you their email address, but bribing them in some way by saying, be entered to win this contest, sign up here, or saying, hey, we have this giveaway, or if you're an information website, or Jules123, maybe you could say, enter your email address here to get my free video on how to make a perfect cat eye or something, or how to match your shoes to, I can't come up with an example. Round It Rosie asked, does this strategy work for a blog?
Right. So it would be the same thing as what we just talked about for the beauty blog. Whatever your niche is, you could contact any number of merchants, stores, brands, whatever you refer to them as. Contact them. They will be more than happy, if you have some readership behind you, to give you products to give away, just to get their name out.
How would you go about doing that? I don't know that I'd know how to go about doing that. How would you go about doing that?
Well,
just call a number on their website?
Oh, no. I'd announce it on Twitter. I'd say coffee roasters and small town coffee shops. If you have any, if you have an interest in getting free promotion, send me a direct message or email me. Or you can have a page on your website that's just for contact information, so people can send you an email without having your email.
Okay.
So they can send you a message, and then that starts a
conversation to your contact page.
Right. I've charged $1,000 to give away somebody's product before.
And it's because you've
built hungry for it. So
because you have the leverage of 20,000 people or whatever's on your follower.
Well, back then I didn't. It's just
so now you can charge
even
more.
You didn't have an audience, but you.
But I
don't. Scott, you've been really quiet. I know that you've also been in some of Nate's talks at Affiliate Summit and different places. Do you have any memories of what Nate has talked about before that you might want him to bring up, or any questions?
I'd like to hear kind of the time frame on Coffee Nate. How did it start? What was the ramp up? Was there something you remember doing that made it take off? And do you think you could do it again?
Okay. So Coffee Nate started 2009. I had to create a blog. I didn't know what to blog about.
Wait, why did you have to?
I'm sorry?
Why did you have to?
Because I wanted to have a blog. I felt like I need a blog.
Wait, can you just tell people real quick what you were doing beforehand?
What was I? Oh, I worked in a prison for 13 years.
He's a prison guard. It's very entertaining. He has good stories.
Yeah.
And then he went to Affiliate Summit, and he was my mentee.
Well, it was
right.
I once got in an auction.
You once got in an auction. Okay.
Get on him?
Scott was being trafficked by Sean and Missy.
Oh, I wish Sean and Missy were on this call right now. Okay.
So I won him on eBay.
Okay.
I won the opportunity to buy him some Starbucks at the Rio.
And you sat down with Scott and started talking to him, and he said, you need a blog?
I don't think so. No, I don't even remember the exact substance of the conversation, but it was making the connection with the right people, and then, getting introduced to Scott's circle, and then branching out from there and engaging with other people that were like-minded. Because at the conference, there's this group over here and there's this group over here. That it's finding your place in there, and then creating relationships with the right people. It's strategic, but they're also, they're like-minded as well. So you do become friends.
Mm-hmm.
So it's difficult when you're in a place with 5,000 other people. You kind of have to do some sifting through to get relationships that are going to work for you and be beneficial in the long run. You become friends eventually, but at the beginning, it's okay. I need to make connections.
So Scott, can we sell time with you on eBay again?
All right. I have to get back to the initial question.
I know. Sorry. Okay. So you decided to start a blog.
I started a blog. I liked coffee. I didn't know a lot about coffee at the time, but it was a topic that I didn't mind learning more about. I was interested to learn more, and the blog is pretty well a documentation of my journey. My first videos are horrible. Pretty much all my videos are horrible. but it's like, it's me sitting there talking to myself like this, and then you take the, no. I would do it all different.
I don't want to go watch them.
They're
Are they still on there?
Every once in a while, I'll watch an old one and just take the post down. So I stopped. Anyway, the information's helpful, but it was something I wanted to learn more about and then share that as I went along. I never said, I'm an expert at coffee, so listen to what I have to say. It's always opinion based because, I mean, coffee is a taste thing, right? So it's subjective. So I started that. I did not have extra money laying around to get paid traffic or have somebody design something super awesome for my site. So social media was getting popular at the time. We used Twitter to like send emails to each other or something at that point.
That's awesome.
Well, that was the good days of Twitter. Now you have to sift through all the garbage out there, right?
Yeah.
But Facebook became a main way for me to distribute content. Facebook and Twitter was for content distribution. And then getting into conversations. I still have a saved search on Twitter for coffee with a question mark or how coffee question mark. And I get into those conversations and I don't say, here's your answer, go visit this page, go read the third paragraph on this page for the answer to your question. No, I just answer their questions. And then people in their own curiosity think, oh, this guy's nice, I'm going to click through. And
how do you save a search on Twitter?
Well, I have in Hootsuite, I do.
Okay.
And also, it just saves it. And I use the Twitter web client. You know, people say it sucks, but I still use it.
I do too. The other thing, just to interrupt real quick there, you can set up a Google alert so you can find out. I do Google alerts if those questions are showing up on Quora. So I do Quora plus the comment with the question mark. So if somebody's tweeting about it or if it goes on Quora, if somebody's asking a question about something that's relative to my brand, then I get an email about it.
Right.
Will Google Alerts pick up on Twitter?
I think they do now because Twitter is...
Tweets are indexed now, I believe.
Right.
But I mean, this tactic still works. It's not even a tactic; it's a strategy because you are intentionally building relationships with people
that are looking.
And it might just be that one question. It might just be that one question and answer, and it's over. But it might not be. It might just be the beginning of something, and you don't know until you get into the conversation. If you're just sending one-way messages out all the time, here, come read this, come read this, come read this, come read this. Well, you're never ever going to build a relationship with anybody.
I just love what you just said about you don't direct them back to a specific page. I love that.
Right. So I'm working with FMTC now, and they started a new brand, Fresh Press Media. It's aimed at creating businesses, tools and monetization simplification for blogging. Right now, it's mainly focused on integrating affiliate marketing, but there's awesome changes coming up on the horizon that are coming out at the beginning of next year. But I still use that. I have the blogging with a question mark or blog with a question mark. There's a lot of garbage to sift through, mind you, but there are still conversations to be found. Find Twitter chats that are about your topic or niche. Get involved, just go in there and be a part of the community, and people will come back to you to have a natural conversation with you instead of just you going into somebody else's house and then saying, hey, listen to me, I'm going to sell you this vacuum cleaner. Well,
sometimes it works, just not as often.
Give me my 2 liter of pop and get off, right?
Vinny O'Hare just mentioned, besides Google Alerts, I use talkwalker.com, and it works better than Google Alerts. Vinny, is that free? I'll wait. I'll read the. Well, one of you guys can. Oh, free. He says it's free. Okay. So we missed a question earlier. Sorry, I always move my computer all around. Let's see. Round It Rosie said, I have only about 2,000 followers on my Facebook page, but it's a very specific demographic. would this be useful for attracting brands? That's going back to your question earlier, Nate, or your comment earlier,
Right.
Nate, about giveaways.
So one thing you could use is the audience insights. You have 2,000 people, so audience insights would apply, I believe. So you go into your ads manager. On the left-hand side, there's an audience insights tab, and it tells you what your audience is interested in. And it gives you the demographics, like the, their age and location and whatnot, and, educational background, but it also gives you their interests. So, it will tell you plus or minus the Facebook norm. So the general Facebook population, 20% like green tea. Well, your fans of your page, 50% of them like green tea. Well, I'm probably pretty sure that a green tea company would be interested in, working with you.
Just a warning, if you ever go look at those insights, you're going to be terrified about how much Facebook knows about you. So watch out.
Right. A cool little trick I learned this week. Whenever you see an ad in your news feed, you click the little drop-down arrow in the right corner, and there's a "Why am I seeing this ad?" link. If you click that, it will tell you the targeting they used to get you.
Interesting.
That's a great tip.
So then you go and unlike that page.
See, and I'm big on allowing for that viewing of my data, because I want to continue to see the content that I enjoy, and that's how people are supporting themselves, are those ads. So I like it.
But sometimes I'm just joking.
I know.
Sometimes
I didn't know you were.
It's like, how in the hell did they target me? And you go and you look at it, it's like, well, that's just ridiculous.
Okay.
The way they used it.
Be Who You Are says, I have some large pages on Facebook, but they went mostly dead. I'm guessing when organic reach on Facebook really dropped, and I get a lot of traction on my personal page. Best ways to get those numbers going again?
You're going to have to get signals somehow, because Facebook sees that. I mean, I don't know if you mean dead because you haven't posted in a long time, or dead because your posts are going nowhere. So if it's not posted, I get it. So I've gone dead for a while and then come back, and it hasn't been an issue. There'll be a little bit of a lull, but you'll still have those people that were there. And Facebook works on like a rolling, they have a rolling distribution. When you write a post, you put it out there, say they show it to 1% of your fan base. If
in her case would still be 7,000 people, so that's good.
So
I'm sorry, 700.
Right, but if I found that 10% is awesome to keep things going. So if I get 70 interactions, then it keeps getting rolled out to a larger number, and then it just explodes once you get over 20. So
what would be the type of content that you would recommend, like, that maybe you've had good success with? I don't know whether you've tested out like image post, content posts.
Images have been number one for me. Text, not so much. Text, I haven't done just a straight text post in a while, so I couldn't even speak to that accurately. But it used to be they would get greater reach. But I think they kind of dialed that back because people were doing text posts, dropping in a link, and then removing the preview so that it was technically a text post, but they were getting link juice out of it. So they've done some changes there. Images have been number one for me for getting that reach and interaction going. And then after a few of those, and you follow it up with a link post, and that will still get greater distribution than if you post straight links all the time, then you're painting yourself into a corner.
One of the strategies that I talked a few weeks ago about Be Who You Are is posting any image, specifically quotes or memes that incite an emotion that goes along with the topic of your page. So if you have a coffee page, then posting a silly quote about, don't talk to me before I have my coffee. Or if you have something that makes people very emotional, posting a supportive quote for those people. Or if it's...
Did you take that from me?
What?
The entertain, emotion, and
No.
educate?
Is that something you teach?
Is that the 3 E's?
That's something I used in one of our talks, Ash. Come on.
I wasn't listening.
What were they?
Entertain, educate, or
Evoke emotion.
evoke That's 4 E's.
Oh, well, it's 3 points.
So be who you are. You're talking about you're getting huge hits on video, 1 to 2.5 thousand hits, but on your personal page. So share them on your business page also. It's not an either or. You either share on your personal page or your business page. You can share them on both. And if there's a handful of those 70,000 people that like both pages,
Not much traction
there.
Okay.
Keep it up.
She could also try boosting them, maybe to get it in front of a wider audience. Just
right. If you're trying to re-engage that fan base that you had, then I would start rolling out the paid to just your page fans, people who like this page.
Mm-hmm.
And those are really cheap to get engagement from, because they've already shown in the past that they have some sort of affinity with what you're doing.
When I've done video boosts, I get less than a penny per view. So
Right.
you could get a lot of hits or a lot of views, a lot of engagement for not a lot of investment.
Right. And you can still get that personal sharing. I would just post it on the business page first, and then share it over onto your personal, so that the credit is going back to the source, which is your business page.
The other thing that you were talking about getting those likes initially. Somebody else talk for a second. The Halloween candy.
Someone else talk.
Yeah, somebody else go talk for a second.
Okay, so Scott asked if he thought I could do it again. And if you have the right topic, it all comes down to topic and your creativity. So I started a sports page about Detroit area sports teams, and that's a no-brainer. That's taking off. So right now I don't have much to talk about. That's good. So it's negative engagement, but you have to.
Uh-oh. Do we lose Nate? Yeah.
Oh, Nate froze. I'll say what I was about to say before someone started knocking and the puppy started barking. When we were talking about getting initial likes, one of the things that I always tried with, especially my niche pages, is not putting my company name at all. So if my company name were Coffee Nate, when I do an ad to initially get those likes, I would put nothing about Coffee Nate or nothing about the It's You, Nate. Oh, you're going to answer him? Nothing about the company name. I would do an ad that just said something along the lines of, do you love coffee? And not even include the company name. So if you do have that niche company, if you have a Facebook page that's going to your business, but you can in some way ask people, do you just love this topic? Like this page here. It's an awesome way to get more likes from people who are interested in your topic that have no idea what your business name is. So you can switch the text around your ad and suggest something they like as opposed to your company name. I'm echoing again. Okay, Nate, I missed what you were saying before, so you can take over again.
Oh, I started a sports page.
Now.
Are you duplicating it?
So the percentages, yes. The percentages are true. So
The 200%?
I would say it gets over 100%. But I wouldn't say average. It averages 75 probably.
If you had to attribute that, because most people are not achieving that, what would be your top 1 or 2 or 3 things that you feel like within a given post is contributing to that type of engagement?
Originality for one. I mean, it's great to curate content and share other people's exceptional content. Mm-hmm. And sometimes that will even help your post. So if something's already viral, then Facebook knows it, right? They're not stupid. They will distribute that out quicker, but the credit is still going back to the source. So it's not going to you per se, but if you create your own original content, then that's where I've seen the best success.
So do you use it like an image tool?
Right. So I usually use PicMonkey.
Okay.
So I'll take a stock image and then add some saying to it and put my watermark on there because they're going to steal it.
I'm probably going to crop it
But
out
I left
anyway.
your watermark.
Ashley, you've talked about this before when you and I have had conversations about a strategy that you use that has to do with looking at a page that's similar to yours and seeing what is really successful on their page. Do you want to share a little bit about that?
Are you talking on Facebook or
yes,
on
Facebook specifically? So if they've shared something.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm trying to think what, yeah, I mean, I think just, first of all, it takes being aware and, following your industry. So whatever niche you're in, if there are other sites, I don't know if there's a lot of other like coffee sites, but
There's coffee.
Well, I bet there's a ton.
yeah. So, obviously, especially if it's a blog and it's something that you're passionate about, you're probably liking a lot of other pages that have this, kind of are centered around the same topic. And as I follow those, I see certain trends of types of content that are getting posted or images or, just kind of being aware of what people are, my dog is barking, what people are following, and then, finding a way to reuse that. So like I will do what Nate does, unless it's a copyrighted image. If it's somebody else's image, I'll just share it, giving full credit back to, the source. But if it is something where, even if, oh, wow, all right.
Everybody cover up your can we block that person?
Yep.
You got it?
Wait.
Yikes. Sorry about that.
Getting that out of
And we can go,
for the recording, if you're listening to
been
this as recording later.
we can delete all those.
Okay.
Oh,
I was
you
just
did
gonna say
already.
to the
They were just
recording-
removed.
Nice. I was just going to say to people listening to the recording, we just
That was a first for us.
yeah,
I've heard of that happening.
You can post GIFs on Blab if you didn't know.
okay.
Don't tell people that. So I take a animated GIF of a girl,
I'm a little
and I post it all over all my Facebook pages. No.
oh, that
So
would
in any
actually give
case,
a lot of reach.
yeah, I'm sure. Boobs.
Yes,
Sorry. Now my whole train of
is that
thought.
Amy from Fresh Pest Media?
That is Amy.
That's awesome. We were just talking about you guys, Amy.
It is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, so I'm sure they were just trying to bring
Oh.
awareness to the issue, being
Do you have checks with those on it, Nate?
so
Boobs?
Vinny's gonna steal that GIF and put Nate's head on it.
Yeah, I saw that.
I often boost on Facebook posts. Does that count against me for organic reach?
No.
Count against you?
No. So I believe what she's asking is if you pay to boost a post, say you publish it and you boost it right away, are you going to be paying for views and engagement that you would have already gotten anyway? So the answer to that is no, and actually you might purchase new organic reach.
Like your next posts will receive more organic reach because
Well,
that
and also from the engagement from the paid ones, you get other engagement.
Right.
So, Scott, I'm
So
going to
if you
make
pay and somebody shares it, and then one of their friends see it, and they interact with it, that's organic.
Scott, I'm going to make you talk for a second because you've been so quiet. One of the questions we always get, because Scott works for a third-party platform that posts to Facebook for you, people always ask if I'm posting from a third party platform, am I going to be, or are those posts not going to be seen? Is that true if people are posting from Hootsuite or from Sharist or from Post Planner or any of those? No.
Make sure my voice works. I haven't used it. This question started coming up when the announcement or news came about that Facebook was suppressing posts that came from third-party software and applications. And the big difference here is implicit versus explicit posts. So there are lots of apps out there that, and the example I always use is Spotify, that just posts to Facebook when you do stuff, or different activities or actions. And those are implicit things. Those are things that just get posted to Facebook when you are using an app, and you're not saying post to Facebook, which is an explicit post. So, if you're using apps like that just kind of post your activities, that's implicit posts, and those get suppressed. And they're even gone now, I think, pretty much. You can see them kind of in activity feeds if you dig for it. But explicit posting, whether you're manually posting something on Facebook directly or you're using a third-party tool that is deliberately posting on your behalf because you took an action to schedule it or post it directly, that's explicit, and it counts the same, and those don't get suppressed. So I think that, for a long time, or for a while, there was a concern that apps like Hootsuite and Sharist were going to lose reach and visibility because they were third-party, but they're explicit, and they're not getting suppressed. It's not it hasn't proven to be any difference that I've seen, and I actually haven't heard about that in a long time. So I think the jury's back on that. I always feel like it's
our job too, because I feel like people have it in the back of their head that, if I'm posting from a third party, I think not as many people see that. So I always feel like it's our job as social media managers or content marketing platform owners to dispel that myth. Because there's a lot of them, a lot of myths like that.
Yeah, I actually haven't heard that one in a long time, which is great, because for a long time I was hearing it every time I talk about our product or products like it.
Nate, do you have any other super brilliant?
I have one question, kind of going back to what we were talking about with utilizing the header graphic on your Facebook page. Have you had a chance to utilize the new lead ads platform that Facebook is using? Okay, I was just curious.
I live in Canada, so I get last access to it.
Okay. I would love to hear if there's anyone else in here who has used it. I have not yet, and I don't know if anyone that's listening has used the Facebook is slowly rolling out a platform that will allow you to collect leads and opt-ins directly on your Facebook page, rather than having to send somebody to a third-party site to collect opt-ins.
I use ShortStack right now.
Okay.
For that.
I've been watching John Loomer's experience with it. He's big into Facebook ads, and he's doing a webinar on November 11th with his findings from his use of that app. So if you just go check out John Loomer, Loomer, this is Nate's man crush. Then
I thought it was Scott.
I just say that because one time Nate and I ran into him in the airport. Is that right? Or I was on the phone with Nate and saw him in the airport, and Nate was excited about it. Is that right, Nate? Or am I making that story up?
We both talked to him at the same time in San Diego once.
Yeah. And he lives really close to me. He's a nice guy. Anyway, he's doing a webinar on November 11th on his use of Facebook. What's it called? Lead ads.
Unless I'm getting that wrong. Lead ads.
ShortStack. Oh, Vinny's saying he started it 3 days ago and it was too expensive. Are you referring to ShortStack, Vinny?
Oh, $5.
No, he's referring to lead ads, I think.
Oh, the ads, that they're too expensive. Interesting. Right. Oh, he said it was probably his fault, though, that he probably didn't.
Somebody else posted they were paying 24 cents a lead, though. So.
Oh, that's pretty good.
That could have been user error, Vinny.
It's got to be different per niche and per
Right.
community. It's going to be
And
all over
Vinny
the
does
place.
sell like 2 Cadillacs a month, so
Hiring clientele, maybe.
yeah. Oh, sorry. I felt like it was okay to say
There's a
because you
couple
put
of
it on
things
here.
that there's a couple obvious things that I didn't mention, but a lot of people don't do on Facebook.
Okay.
Acknowledge when people interact with you. This is overlooked way too often. If somebody comments, you need to let them know somehow that you saw it.
Mm-hmm.
So click like, reply, and when you do that, it helps keep the juice for that post flowing because there's action happening.
Oh yeah, because people see that in their newsfeed then too.
Right. And I've had posts take off that are years old. Like on National Coffee Day, I had a post from 2013 that got like 1,000 shares or something
Wow.
in 2015. So obviously it's indexed in Google somewhere. Somebody found it and then just started sharing it around, and it takes off again. So then I go back on there. Oh, hey, thanks for liking this. Here's a link to this year's post.
Awesome.
But yeah, the interaction, and also when you click on the number of shares, it will show you all the public shares anyway. So if you have 1,000 shares, maybe you'll only see a list of 200 because they have to have their settings to make it visible to everybody. You can go in and like all of those shares as your page.
So if you click shares, you can see which pages or people shared it?
Right, and then you can like it as your page.
Oh,
Mhm.
I didn't know that.
One thing I wanted to ask you, or just confirm, because I had heard this a couple weeks ago, if you run multiple business pages that are maybe related to the same topic and you share those as the other business pages, they do not count as shares. Is that correct?
It counts as shares to the original source.
Okay.
It used to be say coffeenate.com creates a post and another business shares it. That's one share for me. And then if that, I think you just muted yourself.
I did.
And if that other business shares it and it gets shared from there, then they would get credit for those shares.
Okay.
Now all of the shares go to the original source.
Okay.
So,
I might be saying this wrong, but I think what I had read there's some. I thought it was if a fan, rather than like if an individual, and maybe I'm confusing this with something else, but
no, because I've seen fan pages share my posts and I click shares and I
it
see them.
adds to your share total.
Right, and it's in the list, and I
Okay.
can interact with that post.
Now, Ashley, when I used to manage several pages that were very similar, they were hyper-local pages with events, and they were all pretty close to each other. So sometimes I would go in as one of my pages and share the post of my other page.
Right.
It never logged as a share, and I don't know.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yes.
I think maybe in Facebook's eyes, as far as your engagement, it will credit that somewhere. But if a public person was to go look at how many shares you have, I don't think it's adding into the tally.
Right.
No, but when they share it and their fan base shares it, you're
Okay.
getting those shares.
They
in your
are
total.
not, or
No, you are.
you are. Okay. Okay.
That's why you call your mom and say, "Mom, share my
Right.
post."
Because I used to, when I was smaller, had only a couple thousand fans. WholeLatteLove.com. They're an online coffee. They sell coffee machines and whatnot. But they had 100,000 fans, and then every once in a while they'd share one of my posts,
Mm-hmm.
and then
blow up.
boom, it would just explode for a day.
I didn't realize that it got credited back to the original.
So, right. So I
One
just
other
didn't have the
question for
juice
you.
on that.
You touched on this just a little bit, but I know there's going to be people that are asking. So you have this great fan page, 200% engagement on your posts. That's great and awesome, but how are you then turning that into like something that's supporting you? So what are you doing to monetize that?
He never said that it supported him.
Indirectly, it does.
So you've been
Yeah,
running
I
it
know.
for 6 years. Yeah. So someone would say, I've
I
been
know
running
it
my
does,
blog
Nate.
for
I
6
know you make
years.
money on it.
Right. So I
What are your
make
best tips for making money from that?
Well, you're sprinkling in your promotional content. So whether that's a post about a product on Amazon, a review post on your blog, it depends on what you do. For me, it's providing informational content. At the end of that content, I have related products. I have some that are reviews that speak about specific products that point people to, and it's mainly Amazon. And what I love about Amazon, I mean, it might not be the most popular thing in affiliate circles, but hey, somebody goes on to buy a $5 coffee filter, and oh yeah, I forgot I had all that stuff in my cart, and somehow, you know, they got a. Last month was like I don't know, somebody that was watching the 50 Shades of Grey series or reading or something, because there were quite a few explicit products that I've never linked to. But I tell you what, I got 7% of each of those.
That was that guy that just came in here with all those funny pictures.
Yeah.
Would you say
That's what I was going to say. Karen, I'm going to interrupt you, Ashley, real quick. Karen, that's what I was going to say. The reason it's not popular with affiliates is because there's a lot of us that live in Colorado or Michigan or all these different places where Amazon won't work with us anymore.
That's when you get an LLC out of state.
If you would like to teach a webinar on how to do that, I would love to hear it.
It's been a few years, so I'm not sure that it is legally
You might have to shroud yourself and mask your voice.
Right.
I just want.
I'm not saying I've done it. I'm just saying
it's a possibility. Amy Powell asked a question earlier about, for someone starting out, do you recommend a budget to get you going? And I think you're referring to initially getting likes on a Facebook page. I don't know why I've picked this number. I do $10 a day. I guess it's depending on how much I think the business is going to make. I might do $1 a day if it's just like a silly hobby page, but I do $10 a day for clients and for different things. And then I monitor it really carefully for that first month and adjust my budget based on that. Nate, Ashley, Scott, you guys may have different.
I don't have a specific dollar amount, but yeah, $5 to $10 a day if it's going to be an ongoing thing. If you want to do a blast and get an initial surge, that's one thing, and that's just, there's no right answer to that. Just make sure your targeting is proper. So yeah, I'd have a coffee page, so I'm not going to, so you would think Folgers is a coffee company that would be, you know, an interest to target because they have 2 million fans. Well,
nope.
Oh, he froze. Fortunately, I've spoken with him enough that I know what he's going to say. He's going to say.
Does Scott need to go? I got a mess. I know, Scott, you said you had to run real quick. Okay.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks, Scott. Hopefully, Nate will come back.
We can hear you, Nate. I was finishing your sentence for you, though. Is he back? So he was going to say, if you do go to that Folgers page, then nobody's interacting. I was just saying, Nate, I've spoken with you so much that I know what you're going to say.
Right. So why would you spend money to get in front of an audience that doesn't care about the product that you're saying you're aligned with?
Guys, we have an open seat. So I'm going to read much love from Nina's comments. And then if you have a burning question, you can try and hop in that open seat and ask us. So much love from Nina says, how can I make my fan page better? I have 20,000 fans. How much should I post on my page? I think that Ashley have different strategies than Nate. I tend to post at least 2 times a day on average. Nate says that on some of his pages, he posts once every 3 days. So see what's getting interaction from your fans and go from there. Is that how you would answer that, Nate or Ashley?
Right. You would, whatever works for your community. If you're seeing, you know, I'm going to try posting multiple times per day and you're seeing negative feedback, like click on that reach number on your page and see what's happening after you post. Because there's negative feedback. So hiding, if people are hiding your posts, That's
We
horrible.
lost you, Nate, for a second.
Am I there?
I can hear you.
Okay, so you click the engagement number, and it'll give you a section is the negative feedback. So you want to know if that is affecting you negatively. So if people are hiding your posts, unliking your page, it's directly from that post. So if you do a second post and you see that number increasing, that might be something to keep in mind. But some experts say, well, your organic reach is down, post 25 times a day. And then if you're only reaching 1,000 out of your 100,000 people, you'll reach 25,000 people. But really, a lot of that is you're hitting those same 1,000 people 25 times. And they get annoyed. And all you're doing is turning off the people who are actually getting your posts.
Right. Ashley, you just did a case study with this, right?
I did. I was familiar with some of the strategies for posting, 20, 25 times a day. And so I kind of wanted to test out to see what that would do. So I didn't go all the way to 25. I posted 8 times a day. And I think where I kind of screwed up the case study is that it's a fairly new fan page. So, it has like only a few hundred followers. So it probably wasn't the best group for testing that type of thing because the engagement was already down, relatively down, anyways. I could see doing that type of a strategy more on a page like what you have that has thousands and thousands of visitors, because more than likely, especially if they're all engaging in some format, they're not all going to see the same posts.
Nate,
but it is possible, like you said. In my case, people were still not necessarily, like nobody was complaining that it was being overdone because nobody was seeing the same posts from what, the feedback that I got. So it was an interesting, just study to see kind of how people responded. I think if I was to do it again, I would start like kind of what you're doing, like starting off, if you had a brand new fan page and you're just looking to grow it from ground zero, initially focusing highly on things that are viral in nature. So things that, may not not that they don't resonate with your brand, but your brand, let's just say you run a blog and you're sharing different types of information. Let's just say like she brought up a beauty blog. So maybe her brand is not that she's going to share memes all day, every day, like a coffee blog might be. But initially, in order to get that exposure and kind of build up that fan base, aside from like buying fans, which you don't want to do, really focusing heavy on viral content initially. So the memes and the silly things that people like to share, like what you said, the 3
educational,
entertain, emotion, and educate. And then as your fan base grows, you can migrate a little bit more into the more of the content-rich things that you might want to share. And I think as you grow, then you can migrate more into sharing more regularly. So, or, ramping up how frequently you share. So that's kind of, my approach. Like I said, when I did this case study, I think it was the wrong account to do that kind of a case study with because it was such a small account. If you have 20 people seeing your posts and you're posting 1 time or 8 times a day, it's still such a small, group to even figure out whether it was, worthwhile to share that often. So
Nate, I'd be really curious to see you do that kind of case study. Post once every 3 days for 2 weeks, and then 5 times a day for 2 weeks, and then once every 3 days.
I'd be scared.
We might lose.
Can you do it on your sports site? You said you're starting a new one?
Oh, I started a sports site. It was over a year ago now, though.
I have a couple pages we could test that on that have, over 20,000 fans, but aren't like they're just niche sites, like movie quotes and that kind of, or TV quotes and that kind of thing. We should try it on one of them.
Yeah, I mean,
I'll put that out there for tests.
I think part of what I was using, so I used Sharist as part of the case study. So I used Sharist to schedule all of the sharing because I didn't really want to take the time, 8 times a day to go in and manually share. So I was using Sharist, which has like the recycling and resharing features. And at the same time, on another one of my fan pages that has a large reach, it's got like 17,000 followers, I think. I'm a little bit more engaged in that group, interest-wise. I was kind of unintentionally sharing probably close to 8 times a day, and the engagement was the same across the board. So that's more the type of account that I could see, utilizing that type of a strategy of really ramping up how often you're sharing. And I mean, it was just like the same amount of engagement. There was no drop in engagement. It was just that many more opportunities for people to engage. So, it was an interesting, right. But I think again, it varies by niche. So,
and what I like to think of Facebook is, and I don't know if it's like Instagram too has the same thing with brands coming into Instagram. People feel ownership over their profile. You see all the stupid disclaimers, right? As of this time, whatever, Facebook doesn't have permission to access my whatever. It's like, you're in their house.
I have a kid knocking again. I'm gonna jump off. We're at an hour. We're over an hour. I'm gonna jump off because I have a kid knocking again.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
You guys open up the 2 seats for any questions and then wrap it up.
Okay.
Or don't. You can keep talking as long as you want. You can go all day if you want to. Yep. Okay. So thank you guys.
Let me just look and see if there's any last few questions here. Okay.
I was just saying that people feel more ownership over their Facebook and Instagram profiles. So I would be mindful of that. And that's what I've always been. It's like once a day I find has been great for me in the past. Just right now I'm busy, and that's just more work for less income right now. So I'm still having great success with like 3 times a week. So that's just what I go with. Twitter, on the other hand, you can schedule a tweet per hour and never bother anybody.
Right.
Because they understand the fire hose situation there.
Right.
So this is the purpose of Facebook is, I'm going to go see what my grandkids are doing and see what, my sister that lives across the country is doing and my friends that I went to high school with. And then I don't want to see this business posted 10 times. You start to get sick of it. I mean, I even get sick of some family members. Like, I got to hide this one. Got to hide this one. So totally. How much more are you does
it need to be done
for business?
Right.
And sometimes you see it. This company posted this update and this update and 8 more, and they collapsed them all.
Right. Yeah.
So you're not even getting the FaceTime really for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's see. There's a couple of comments here from Karen STL. Is that St. Louis? Or?
Yeah, I answered
important
in the
to
chat.
What time your fans are online, and then schedule your post to 15 to 30 minutes before when most are online if you want the organic reach. Have you done any testing as far as to find out when people playing around with when during the day you make those posts?
I found that it hasn't really mattered. Yeah. I've tried different times, and I've known people that even swear by posting in the middle of the night when their least amount of fans are on, because there's less competition in the news feed, and the percentage of those that you would hit in the news feed would be higher. And if they engage, then when everybody else wakes up, you have all that that past performance behind you.
Yeah, that's a good tip.
So I don't know if you guys knew this as well, but when you click the number of likes on a post, you're given the option to invite a lot of those people to like your page individually.
No.
Yeah, something that I just noticed like a month ago or 2 months ago.
Wait, so say that again. When you click.
So you go to your page,
Mm-hmm.
and your last post, say it has 500 likes. You click the, it'll say like a couple people, and then so many number more, right? Click that and so many number more, and it will open up that light box, and you can scroll through, and I think about 2/3, more than half of them will have an invite link next to them, or it will say they already liked. It says liked already.
And this is specifically for people that have liked a post.
Or
something.
Yeah.
Shared.
So if I make a post and I paid for engagement, and now I want to see if those people will be interested in liking the page, becoming a fan, but I can be selective about it at that point. It's like, okay, well, I get the feeling this person doesn't really live in the United States, and my business is only focused towards the U.S., so I'm not going to invite them to like the page, because you're peeing in your own pool at that point.
Right. Good analogy.
Yeah.
Karen here says, I heard if your post gets 5 or more shares, it gives you that option, but it only does that if you have 5 or more.
For what option?
I don't know if that the option to invite them.
Okay, that's not shares, that's likes. But if you can get to the point where you have the dialogue,
to invite people that you aren't friends with, a given post has to have been shared 5 or more times.
Oh.
To then be able to invite the people who have liked it, I believe is what she's saying.
5 or more
that might be
likes,
something
maybe?
Interesting.
Whenever you get that light box to open up, they're there. Because I have new pages that are starting out that don't have 5 shares, that when I click on the number of people who liked it, it opens up that box and I can invite them.
That's a really good tip. That's awesome.
But yeah, it's just like, I don't know if you've gotten the new message thing. When people comment on your posts, on your page, you make a post, they write a comment, you can send them a direct message now. You can send them a private message.
Okay. Yeah. So you're not messaging people.
I'm not doing that. No. Okay. No, I'm just.
That'd be a lot on a page with 20,000.
Oh, that'd be a lot of messaging. But I acknowledge 90% of interactions probably.
Okay.
I'm always involved.
By going in and liking them
or commenting or
commenting. Okay.
Something.
That's awesome.
And if people share a nice picture to the page that I didn't think they stole from somewhere else, then I'll share that on there too. And then they usually send me a message later in the day. Oh my goodness, my phone's been blowing up all day.
Oh my gosh!
They get credit for all those shares, so it trickles back to them. So it's kind of fun.
Oh, that's awesome. It's all about connecting, not just like being a robot on there. Okay, awesome. Let's see. I think we got through all the questions. Anyone else have a last minute question before we sign off? This has been really awesome. And I've got a whole bunch of notes here that I'm going to type up and I'm going to post with our replay. So if anyone wants to get the kind of the show notes, you can go to the Thought Seat. It's just www.thoughtseat.com where we'll post the replays. There's just click the replays tab. It'll be the most recent one, and I will get those loaded up here sometime later today. So Round It Rosie wants to know if you would do a full seminar on this. Well, we kind of did a little bit, but I mean, if we want to, somebody's pulling into my driveway. I don't know who that is. We will, if you have specific questions, go leave them on the, that weren't answered. If you didn't get to see the full replay, go check it out at thoughtseat.com. It'll be posted here in a couple of hours. And then you can leave comments there and we'll reply, or, we'll enlist Nate to come and give his feedback as well. So any other questions? Nate, thank you so much for coming on and
it's been fun.
Enlightening us with your wisdom, and your stats on that page are pretty awesome. So it's something we can all strive for.
One thing that I always think is funny is when all these experts started out, the Facebook experts, they would all point to these same numbers and say, oh, you can get this by doing this. You can get this much reach by doing this. You can get this many likes and this many shares. And when they lost them is when they started calling those vanity. Those are vanity statistics. Those are vanity metrics. They don't really matter. Well, they're only vanity metrics if you don't have them.
Right.
They're metrics. They're useful. There's a purpose for them.
Right.
There's obviously, it comes down to the bottom line is you're going to want to get, your call to actions. So whether it's a sign up, a lead, or a product sold, that's going to be the bottom line. But making that community and building it, when it's time for those people to look for a business to get whatever your service or product is, they'll come to you because they have that community with you.
That's awesome.
Thanks for having me on. It's been a fun time.
Good stuff. Good stuff. And where can people find you? Do you want to give or you can post it in the notes.
Okay. At Coffee Nate on Twitter, or Fresh Press Media. If you're looking for blogging advice, you can hit me up at Fresh Press Me. I look like an orange slice on there, but it's really me that's managing that. And yeah, Facebook,
awesome.
Coffee Nate 1.
Sounds good. All right. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Nate.
Bye-bye.
We'll talk to you next.